Hi everyone, it's Brittany, and today we are going to be talking about how your perception is your reality. So I am going to be sharing a little bit of a success story from one of my clients today. And I've been waiting a little bit to share success stories and client stories simply because I really, really want this channel to, you know, build this foundational understanding before we get into the successes. And the reason why that is because I think it's very easy to see a success story of someone who maybe has a similar situation to you, and then to do that comparison game where you say, well, it took them 2 weeks. Why is it taking me 4 months? Or, oh, they did this technique, they affirmed, they visualized, they said X, Y, and Z. So I'm going to do that. And then when it doesn't work for you, it's like, well, why didn't it work? They did it. Why didn't it work for me? So, I want to remind you guys that number one, if you hear a success story, what that means is it's a part of you. That means that it is available to you and possible for you because you wouldn't be able to perceive it if you weren't it, right? If it wasn't available to you, you wouldn't be able to be aware of it. So that's number one. Number two, comparing yourself to others makes zero sense because they are all you. Again, same idea. Everyone is you. So everything that you can hear, everything that you can perceive, it's because it's coming from you. It's already a part of you. So just want to make that clear. Now, with that being said, I love sharing success stories. I think it's very motivating to, people, and it shows you that, okay, if somebody else out there can do this, that means that I can. But again, going back to the truth of all of this, of course you can because it's you. So, okay, let's just get into it. Now, again, we're talking about perception here, and I'm going to tie it all in together in the end. So I was working with somebody who told me that she was in a cycle. She was stuck in a cycle where every time she would start dating a guy, that guy would have a female presence in his life. So whether it be a female friend, it could have been a coworker, could have been a mom, a sister, a cousin. It didn't really matter. But the point is, every time she would start to date a guy, there would be a woman in his life. And that woman would, in my client's words, make my client feel very judged, make her feel very insecure, and generally just make her feel like she wasn't good enough for this guy. And like I said, this was a theme for her. So when she came to me, this is what she told me, and we talked about it a little bit, and, I got some more information, but her perception was that every time I date a guy, there's a woman in his life that makes me feel so bad about myself and treats me nasty, judges me, gives me these like backhanded compliments, and I just always feel like I need to compete. Even though they're not romantically involved with each other, I just always feel like they're judging me and basically talking about me to the guy behind my back, and they'll pretty much get this guy in the end to realize that I'm not good enough. And I know that's a lot. That's a lot of what she said. So the thing is, if you are first and foremost looking at a situation of, okay, here's the problem. I am being treated this way. I'm feeling judged. I'm feeling insecure. Totally get it. I understand. But the thing is, if you want to move from that one experience, you have to completely start fresh. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because she had said, I have been trying to manifest this change for a very long time. And she wasn't new to manifestation by any means. So it wasn't like, she was being impatient or she just tried a few things and resigned. It was that this, like I said, was something that she's continually dealing with over and over and over again. And she was like, I have done every single technique there is. I have done self-concept work. I'm still working on my self-concept, and I will get things happening. Like, definitely I will. And maybe like the woman that's involved in this guy's life at the time will, I don't know, say something nice to me every now and then, or they'll kind of just leave me alone, or maybe even like the guy will speak up and stand up for me in those situations. But the bottom line is it never really changes the actual experience that I'm having in the end. And she's just like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. Like, please, please help. So again, the first thing I told her is that you cannot start in a place of a problem or lack and try to somehow convince yourself that it isn't that way. Try to somehow change the situation or the story by starting in a place of, here's a problem, here's lack in my life. And I understand that the whole reason we are here is to have different experiences because we are noticing a problem or lack in our lives. It's not what I'm saying. Once you've figured out that that is the thing that you don't want to be experiencing anymore, awesome. But after that, we completely drop that whole storyline where there's this problem. And she was like, wow, I have not been doing that at all. What I've been doing is I've been trying to convince myself that, you know, I am loved by everyone. I'm chosen. People like being around me. People see me as a good person. And she's like, I've been working on that for a long time. And yeah, I am getting people saying those things back to me. But again, it just hasn't changed my overall experience of this issue that I'm having. And I was like, well, yeah, of course, because you are telling a story of, here's my problem. I'm doing X, Y, and Z to fix it. And hasn't worked. Nothing's happened. And as we know, your perception of whatever it is that's going on is the way it's going to be experienced by you. So, like I said, you want to, yes, recognize the thing that you don't want, recognize the thing that you don't choose anymore, and leave it alone and choose a completely different one that is totally unrelated. And so she was like, okay, I have not been doing that whatsoever. So that's what I want to do. So we decided what she would prefer. And what she preferred was to, and at this time, she wasn't dating anyone. So it was kind of, she said, easy for her to make that choice of, okay, like anytime I meet a new guy, I get along with everyone in his life, no matter who it is. And it's really easy for me. And that's what she chose for her new experience. But I also told her to focus on herself and who she was, because obviously the way that you see yourself, the way that you define yourself is what will be experienced by you. And it's not that, you know, she just keeps picking these guys that just so happen to have female influences in their lives, and they always just so happen to be judgmental and critical of her. No, that's not what's happening. What's happening is she is seeing herself as someone who has this experience over and over again. So that's all that keeps continuing to happen. So in any case, she chose this new identity for herself. And as she said, it was really easy and it was feeling good to her. Then in comes a guy that she starts to date. So started to date this guy. There was a female. It was a sister that was involved. And she ended up meeting the sister. And she said nothing really problematic happening. But as time went by, she started experiencing the same things again. And she was like, I don't get this. What am I doing? What am I doing wrong? And you're not doing anything wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. This is one experience, one identity that exists within you. And yes, it's one that you have continued to believe that you were for so long. So Of course, it's possible that you might have an experience like that again because it exists within your awareness. And she was worried, she had said, that it was going to be the same again. So once this happened, okay, let me explain what happened. So she said she was feeling a little bit judged, a little bit insecure about this girl, but it wasn't like a big problem. But then what happened was his family was doing some sort of get together. And I don't know all the details, honestly, because she didn't tell me much. But his family was doing something, doing an event together. And she perceived it as his sister reached out to everyone but her. And it wasn't just a family thing. It was family and friends, and a lot of this guy's friends, because it was an event specifically for him. Again, not too sure what it was, but it was an event specifically for this guy that she was dating. So she was like, she literally like kept me out of it. She invited all of these other people. She created a group chat, and she didn't add me to the group chat. So now I'm hearing from some of his other friends that they're going to this event, and I'm just here feeling bad about myself again and trying to figure out if I should reach out to him, what I should say, what I should do. Should I just leave it alone? Should I ignore it? And I was like, okay, first of all, why are you claiming that this sister is leaving you out of the equation? Why are you claiming that? And she was like, oh, I'm not claiming it. That's just what's happening. And I said, remember when I told you and when I continue to tell everyone in my videos that nothing is happening? Nothing is happening out there. Nothing is happening outside of you. And she was like, well, yeah, I do. But I mean, this did happen. So what are you saying? I should revise it? And I was like, I'm not saying anything. I don't think that you should or shouldn't revise it. But what I am saying is you can choose a different perspective right now. You truly have no idea what's actually happening. You don't know what her intention was. You don't know that she purposely left you out of the group chat. You don't know any of that. You're assuming all of that based off of your identity. And she was just like, well, yeah, I guess you're right. So I said, okay, let's just stop for a second. Feel whatever it is that you need to feel about the situation. Yes, but come back and decide how you want to choose to perceive this. And she was like, well, what should I like come up with a different meaning? Like, oh, I don't know. She wasn't trying to leave me out. And I said, okay, you can. Yes, you can. You can do that. You can try to come up with a specific meaning for this thing. Or you can realize that, hold on a second. I've already decided that I am somebody that is always chosen. I am somebody that's respected. I am somebody that everyone loves to be around. And I'm pretty much the life of the party everywhere I go. So this situation, actually, it really has nothing to do with me because that makes no sense for me, for who I am now. And I gave her a little example because she was still struggling with like, yeah, okay, like I can choose that. But then my human self keeps saying, yeah, but remember this, remember that, remember what happened here, remember what happened there. And I was like, look, that's going to happen. It is what it is. That's how the human self works. It is going to bring up any proof to keep you in the same identity, like I had said to you guys in the previous video. So let's just recognize that it doesn't know what it's talking about. Secondly, you cannot use anything from a previous identity to compare or make sense of something in an entirely different identity. And so what I explained to her was this. I said, let's say that, and guys, I think you're going to be able to tell when I use celebrity examples. I don't know anything. I haven't watched or haven't paid attention to Hollywood for a long time is what I should say. So let's just say Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore is in a movie where in one movie, she is, the wealthiest woman in the world. She is successful. Everyone wants to be her. People are jealous of her. People want to be around her. That's just her life and that's who she is. But then in another movie, she plays a woman that is, homeless. And she has been through abusive relationships all of her life. And she just struggles. So like I was telling my client, you cannot use Drew Barrymore in that one movie where she's a massive success and she's the wealthiest woman in the world, and then try to compare her to Drew Barrymore that's homeless and struggling. That makes zero sense. They are completely unrelated. They have nothing to do with each other. They don't cross over. They don't connect in any way. Yes, they both look like Drew Barrymore, but they are two entirely different people, characters. So I said to her, you cannot use anything that has ever happened to you from a place of comparison, or even things that have happened in this particular situation with this guy and this sister. You can't use any of that to determine what is true right now in this moment. They're completely unrelated. So she said, oh my God, that's what I've been doing. That's absolutely what I've been doing. So I just have to completely drop it. Yes, you have to completely drop it. And I understand that your human self is not going to do that. It's going to bring those thoughts and those memories back up into your face. But your job is to allow that all to be there, knowing that that's an entirely different movie. So it's completely unrelated to this movie, the one that I'm choosing now. That's it. That's all. So that's what she did. And she chose, instead of trying to come up with a specific meaning of what was going on with this group chat, she just said, well, because that has nothing to do with the current movie that I've chosen, it's irrelevant to me. And she just left it alone. She completely left it alone. And then when she was feeling like she needed to, she would just remind herself, I love being respected. I love being that girl that everyone loves to be around. And she just talked to herself like that. She said that that's what felt the most natural and the best to her. Again, you don't have to do it this way if you don't choose to. This is what worked for her. So that's what she did. And what ended up happening was, so like I said, there was a group chat and she had known a couple of the other people in the group chat. That's why she found out about it in the first place. So she just, in the 3D experience, left the whole thing alone, didn't try to figure out what the plans were, didn't try to tell the guy that she was dating that, she didn't get invited. She just left it alone entirely. She focused on who she was, and she got a screenshot sent to her, a screenshot from that group chat that she was so concerned about. And it was from one of the people that she knew. And the screenshot was the sister sending a message in the group chat saying, does anybody know, and I'm not going to say my client's name, so I'll just say Maggie. Does anybody know Maggie's phone number? Because I really, really want her to be there and I don't have her number. I had it, I thought I had it, but it wasn't saved. And I guess her messages had gotten deleted from her phone. So she went back into the history of her texts and she couldn't see it anywhere. So my client was thinking, well, she has my number. We've messaged before. So there's no reason why she shouldn't be adding me to the group chat. But clearly that wasn't the case. Now, what I do want to say is this wasn't a linear experience where, oops, no, I just had the wrong perspective. No, what happened was you were in one perspective of, okay, she doesn't like me. Of course, she's not adding me to the group chat. She's like totally, disrespecting me right now. And that would have been the experience that she would have had. But because she shifted that and she chose a different perspective, no, that obviously has nothing to do with me because that's not what I choose for myself. This is who I am. She then had to have an experience that proved that to her. So my whole point that I'm trying to make here, guys, is your perception of things must always be proven back to you. So when you say things like, well, I imagined this, I imagined what I desire, I imagined my end, and nothing has happened, or the opposite happened. Why? Well, the perspective that you're holding. You're in a perspective of, well, my experience that I've had in the 3D world is real, and my imaginal acts or my affirmations or my scripting, well, that's not real because it hasn't happened. But here's the thing, it's all the same. The 3D is your imaginal acts. The 3D is your scripting. It's your affirmations. It's your perspective of things. It's your perception of the way that you're living your life. So this is why I always say to you guys, you don't have to get so caught up in all of the details of the way that you want things to go. Can you? Of course you can, absolutely. But what I'm saying is, you want to see yourself as the person that is living your ideal life in all ways. And if you're having a perceived problem, the only way to get rid of that problem is to remove your attention from it. Problems cannot continue to exist when you aren't giving them reality, when you aren't giving them validity. So when you see a problem, when you experience a problem, okay, I get it, feel it, experience it, do what you need to do, but then drop it. Choose to see that if this isn't what I've chosen, it has nothing to do with me. So I really just wanted to share this with you guys because it's not only was she wrong, she wasn't wrong. She was choosing a perspective that wasn't serving her. So that would have given her an outcome of something that she didn't want to experience again. But she chose her preferred perception of things. And now she's experiencing that. And the funny thing is that once she went to that event with the guy that she's dating, and his sister was just all about my client, wanting to get to know her, wanting to hang out with her. She wanted to plan something for another time where they could just get together. So she is showing my client all of the things that my client had said that she was. And if she would have used that experience where she felt she was being left out again, she felt that she wasn't being a part of the group chat and being a part of this event, and she would have accepted that as a fact just because she saw it as solid in her 3D experience, well, then guess what? We would be in a completely different place right now. She wouldn't have had that experience where she got to go to the event and where she got to get to know his sister better and they start to build their relationship. Do you see what I'm saying? So my whole point is, you guys at any given moment have a choice. You always have a choice to choose to perceive things in the way that you prefer them to be. So when I have people coming to me saying, well, yeah, you say that I can just choose this, but what about this thing that just happened? Or what about this thing that's happened in the past? Remember, guys, everything is happening right now. Every possible experience or reality that exists, which is infinite, is all happening right now in this moment, simultaneously, all here, all now. And you get to choose which one you want to experience by choosing the perspective that serves you best. So this is why I always say, if you want to make it easy, just across the board, choose to see everything as perfect and working out for you. But you can also choose as you go through, when you're seeing specific things happening, for example, you can choose the way that you would prefer to see it instead, or the way that you would prefer to experience it instead, whatever feels the best for you. So yeah, guys, just to reiterate, your perception is the way that you will experience your life. That's it. So if you are someone who feels that they've been trying for so long and I've been doing X, Y, and Z and none of it's working, well, that's your perception. And no, it's not that, no, it's just because I saw it like that and now that's what I'm saying. No, Your perception gave you an experience that allowed you to perceive it in that way. Remember, your 5 senses are following your awareness, following the perception that you choose to see things through. And there are billions and billions and billions of points of views that you can choose from, infinite, really. And you always have a choice to choose what benefits you. So don't ever choose something that you don't want. If SP isn't contacting you, yeah, he is. If you don't see the money in your bank account that you want to see, yes, you do. And I understand for some people, they don't feel that they can just choose that. They don't feel that they can tell themselves something if it's not really happening. But going back to the foundational understanding, nothing is happening. You're looking at one point of view. You're looking through one little tiny pinhole, and you're saying that this is the absolute truth of what's going on, when in fact, there are infinite other pinholes that you can look through. So don't get stuck on one just because you believe that's what's being solidified right now. Choose what you prefer and allow that to be perceived by your senses. All right, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this. I am sure that you will. I'm going to be sharing more success stories. A lot of you guys have been giving me permission to share, so I'm really excited to start doing that. But as always, remember that this is all about you, and you always get to choose who you want to be. You get to choose how you define yourself, and the way that you choose to define yourself is the way that you will experience your life. Okay, guys, thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your week, and I will see you soon.